A very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Sports Tonight. This is the Tuesday night edition of the show. Promises to be fun, promises to be exciting, as always. My name is Tony Ibitoye. I'd like to say a very big thank you to you for joining us this Tuesday. And of course, also tell you that you are in for a swell time on Sports Tonight this beautiful day. I'm not alone. Of course, you know what we do on Thursdays. Apart from updating you with all that is going on in the world of sports, we also have time to reflect on how we can restore Nigeria to the place of pride in athletics. It's called the Making of Champions. Bambo Akoni will be joining me later on the show. We will do what we always do, which is to reflect on how we became successful in the past and hope to find our way back to the top, of course, of athletics in the world. So we will take a look at that. Bambo is already in the house, and today he's got something special for us around an Olympiad who became an Olympic gold medalist doing all of his training in Nigeria. Who exactly are we talking about? You'll find out as we go along on Sports Tonight this Tuesday. Let me also tell you that on the program tonight, we will spend some time to reflect, of course, on the Globe Premier League. We're going to be having a full day's fixture tomorrow, March day 8, apart from one game that won't be played. 7 matches are lined up. We will talk about it on the program today as well. And of course, we will reflect on what we hope to see differently around the Globe Premier League. So please stay tuned. Dumnodio Konta will be joining us for that. And then we have a guest as well who will be coming in, someone who is appearing on Sports Tonight for the first time. He will also be talking the Globe Premier League on Sports Tonight this Tuesday. Plenty of grassroots to talk about. We told you about the Lagos State Ibile Games. We will also spend some time to look at the Okpokpa Road Race. We couldn't touch that yesterday. We'll go to Kwara State, talk about the Principal's Cup that is entering the semi-final stage. And of course, we will also talk about the corporate bodies who are playing their own Champions League in Lagos. It is now in the final stage. We will reflect on that as well on the program this Tuesday. Now talking about Champions League, let's quickly inform you that as we speak, a game is going on in Spain. Atletico Madrid are hosting Chelsea in a very crucial UEFA Champions League first leg semi-final match. And before we came in, it was Chelsea and Atletico battling out to a goalless draw. I just want to do a quick check to find out if anything is different. Right, it's still goalless. As you can see on your screen, it's still goalless. Atletico Madrid and Chelsea live. We're already in the second 45 minutes. And it's still goalless between the two. Tomorrow, another big game at the Santiago Bernabeu is Real Madrid against Bayern Munich. We will exactly see who will come tops in that one as well. But once again, to update you, 55 minutes of football already played. Atletico Madrid 0, Chelsea 0. Chelsea have already replaced injured goalkeeper Petr Cech, and they're really pulling their weight, trying to get a decent result that will see them probably overturn or overcome Atletico Madrid in the second leg in a week's time. All right, time to introduce my partners on the program, starting off with me tonight, Cosmos Chukwuemeka. Cosmos, good to have you on Sports Tonight.
Yeah, it's good to be back in the studio after the Easter break.
Yeah, you really enjoyed the Easter break, I see.
Yes, I did.
And of course, Tunde Koiki is looking very different today. In case you are wondering if this is Tunde Koiki, yeah, it's the same Tunde Koiki, good looking.
So yeah,
I mean, that's Tunde, that's a new look. But Tunde, good to have you. I mean, this is the look of a champion. I mean, when you are on top of the EPL and it's your title to lose, and your opponents are faltering, and they are not getting results on the road, and you are going and grinding out results in difficult places. You have to look like a guy, you know.
Well, the truth about it is that a Liverpool fan, a true Liverpool fan, is always very humble. We haven't won anything yet, or in the process of trying to win, and until the trophy comes in, we're just hoping for the best. We'll take it one game.
But it's looking very likely that you're winning.
All I know is that on Saturday or Sunday we go again.
And you're going to win.
We go again.
One game at a time. One game at a time. And
I like that.
Sunday's game is very key. They are up against a team in the top 3, also fighting to win the title this season. They're facing Chelsea. It's It's not going to be a tea party. It's going to be a difficult game. At the Anfield, you can trust that Liverpool surely have this one in their bag. It's theirs to lose, really. We'll talk more about all of that as we go on the show tonight. But gentlemen, it's 51 days now to the 2014 FIFA World Cup Brazil. 51 days to go. It's really closing in on us fast, and before you know it, it's D-Day. But for us, it's all about Keshi, the NFF Technical Subcommittee, and today they had a meeting, and the reports were getting all positives from that meeting. Keshi, well, still holding on to the list because he wants everybody to still fight and stay in shape for the World Cup. He doesn't want anybody to have an idea that, look, you are in or you are out. And the technical committee members obliged. They had a meeting that was more like a family meeting. And everybody is working on the same page.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody is working on the same page. Like you said, basically, they had a meeting today. And in the meeting, it was agreed that they keep Moom concerning the 35-man list. Those players are going to be on
30
the list.
now. It's 30
it's not 30 now. Okay.
Because, I mean, everything just worked according to Keshi's plan.
Well,
that's what Keshi wants.
That's the thing.
Everybody's ready to work with him.
Keshi doesn't just want to jump the gun. He just wants to take it cool. And he wants to make sure that those players, they really fight for a place in his team. But basically, what came out of the meeting is the fact that Nigeria is going to be playing against Scotland at Fulham. The Craven Cottage on May 28th. Yes, May 28th, and they're going to travel to the United States of America. Play two games in the United States of America.
Greece and the US.
Exactly, and there's also a talk about probably Croatia will be part of the equation as well. So basically, there's a good guideline to this. They are preparing pretty much. Keshi knows what he wants, and is definitely going for what he wants.
Tunde, I mean, what we've always said, look, if we're going to make a success out of the World Cup, it is not what happens from June 12th that will decide whether we're doing well or not. It's not just luck that falls on our laps. It is how we build up to it, how we work together, how we work behind the scene, how we support the coach, how we do our groundwork, how we monitor our opponents, that will decide how well we perform.
If you have someone like Bamba Akoni, he will tell you that in order to have been an Olympic champion, you must have trained for at least a minimum of maybe 10 years. You must have started your career at a particularly young age. And that tells you something that you don't just become a champion overnight. There must have been a consistent amount of work that has gone into play. And a lot of people think that what is the fuss about us about Nigeria's participation at the World Cup, that at least we're not going there to win it. I disagree. Once you can participate, you have an equal chance to win it. You're a participant, you're a contender. Maybe not a favorite, but a contender nonetheless. And so much has been said about Stephen Keshi's list, releasing his 35 men, 30. I don't understand why all this pressure is coming up. Keshi has shown consistently that he knows what he's doing. Okay. Why can't we just trust him? And that is my problem. I think we should just give him a tremendous amount of trust and just believe that he knows what he's doing and how he's going about it. I have no fears whatsoever regarding the kind of team that we will produce. There will be some surprises, but I think there will be good surprises, and we will have a team that we can be particularly proud of at the FIFA World Cup.
All right, so that's what the last time the Eagles played a friendly, it was more like an away game, and the Eagles acquainted themselves quite well. This was a game that was watched by over 60,000 people. 95% of those guys were Mexicans, chanting and supporting their team, and these boys were still able to hold their own and play out a draw. So I think we can build on this, really. For me, what we're doing now is just plus or minus about 4 or 5 players. We already have the 17 or the 18 already for the World Cup. I mean, if you have followed Keshi from the Nations Cup, you can pick out,
But then again, you have to factor into things like form, injuries. So we can't honestly say we have 17. But on how do I put it? Like you said, if we go by Keshi's consistency, there is a spine.
The way he has played, the way he has organized his team.
There is a pattern. I think we do have maybe 17 or maybe 15 players. There's still hope for maybe another 8, possibly, to crash into that team. And that is what he's watching right now. Consistently looking at who can break it. So Sonny Aluko has been playing well for Hull City. He will be played in the FA Cup final. He might get a look in. There's still a possibility that even Anike Uche might get a look in as well. So there's so many equations, permutations, variables no. There are a few constants. There are obviously Vincent Nyama is a constant.
Austin
Ejide is a constant.
Even Chigozie
bearing injuries, as you said.
Vincent Nyama is a constant, bearing injuries, but. Like you said, he has shown consistency over the years, and I think we should stick with him.
Basically, what I'm going to say is that every coach that is going to the World Cup basically know the sort of team that they want. You take, for example, the coach of Italy, Coach Prandelli. He has already said it. Fine, he released a 45-man list and all that, but he has already said it that he knows his first 11. I mean, he knows what he wants to play.
Using the word of one of our former leaders, we know those. We don't know those who will replace us, but we know those who will not. All right, so we have an idea of those. Okay, how do we put it now on this show? We don't know those who will be on that list, but we know those who will not be on the list.
At least we know one or two people that.
For example, I know Tunde Koike won't be on that list.
Yeah.
I know Cosmos Chukwuemeka won't be on that list. I know I won't be on that list.
Anyway,
I
know Peter Rufai won't be on that list.
Yeah.
And of course, but honestly speaking, on a more serious note, we wish the NFF Keshi the best of luck. I'm happy with the way the meeting today panned out. Everybody looks ready to work. Everybody on the same page, and for the first time in a long while, the president of the Nigerian Football Federation was also part of the technical committee meeting. So I think everybody is working on the same page. We don't want those Keshi on one side, NFF on one side, technical committee on one side. No, everybody should be on the same page, and I think we're achieving that, and that is what we need if we must succeed in Brazil. So once again, we wish the NFF, we wish everybody the very best of luck.